That's the deal. God is light and you are light. So it's light to light. How do you do that? So you'd have to forget everything that you've ever learned. In the same way that scientists have had to forget that the speed of light is constant and can never be changed. They've had to forget that. You have to forget the idea that you've always had all of your life of God and change it to the supreme light being, and then say, if I'm going to survive, I've got to survive. I've got to bring myself into a harmony with this light being. How do I do that? How do you get into a harmony with light? And that causes a tremendous jolt to your traditional values, because what I'm asking you to do is totally turn away from God, because God is a creation of churches and people. And I'm telling you, turn away from that and turn instead to the supreme light being, which is infinite and a creation of no one. And here, I mean, what I'm not asking you to step out of line with the scriptures, because the scriptures are very clear. God is light. It's the end of that. But how do you talk to light? How do you communicate with it? If you've been raised the same way I was in the church, you were taught that God is your heavenly Father. And so you came up with a father-type figure. Tell him your troubles. But now we realize that we're telling our troubles to something that is not a human being. This is a light being. They never told us how to tell our troubles to a light being. And all the money you gave to church, all the meetings you went to, they never touched on how does one communicate with light. They said you pray, you sing. What is light? You know, do these bulbs really enjoy the music we have in here? I've never seen the bulbs change. In fact, we turn them out when we play the music. So what do you do? And so is this light being, because you're saying this is the day that the Lord, is this light bouncing all over the place, or is it not even considering stuff like that? This is stuff we made up. We made up all of this stuff because we wouldn't deal with the fact that this thing we call God is actually light. Well, we know how light communicates with us, and there is something in your body that is specifically there for that purpose. It's called the pineal gland of your brain, and it is the light receptor. And the pineal gland, of which Jacob said in the Bible, I have seen God face to face, and I will call the place Peniel. Pineal, light receptor. God is light. Pineal, God receptor. I got it. I call the place Peniel because it is the light receptor which has received into me the supreme light being, the pineal, the single eye. And remember last week, if you were here, we studied the ancient Egyptian mythology of Aradamus. The story of Aradamus comes from the ancient Egyptian mysteries. He saw the eye face to face, as Jacob did. Aradamus asked for exactly what you have asked for. And Aradamus came much in the same way that you come into this room. He came into a room, and then something had to happen. He had to come forward because it was said to Aradamus, you want this? You prove that you want it. And as you can see, you look around this room, most people cannot prove that they want it, because everybody wants this to a degree, but they want the status quo too. They want the stock market, they want, you know, the Blue Cross, and they want, you know, don't change anything. But if you want this, just like Aradamus, you have to do something. And they said to Aradamus, they said, look it, you want to know the mystery of creation, and you people sitting here want to know that too. You ask that the divine illumination and the wisdom for the ages that has been the one gift the gods would shower be entrusted to you. In other words, you want to know. You want clarification. What am I here for? What's going on? What's this all about? So they said to Aradamus, little do you understand of what you ask, but those who know have said that the one who proves worthy may receive the truth. So you stand here, Aradamus, before this eye.